Hey guys, this is JoAnn speaking here, and welcome to Paleo Reviews. We are back with Dinosauria Volume 2 today. In one of my other review videos, I went over terrible lizards featuring Iguanodon and Megalosaurus. It celebrates 200 years of paleontology and how much the viewpoints of dinosaurs have changed over the years. The second film I'm going to talk about today is called Hunted by Moonlight, released on October the 24th, 2025. Hunted by Moonlight begins in the dark of the night where a wounded Ceratosaurus attempts to run for its life but ends up falling down. It would soon be killed off screen by none other than a Dilophosaurus. The film then focuses on a small group of Scutellosaurs who wake up and wander off in search for midnight snacks. However, they ended up in dangerous territory. The results: one Scutellosaur was killed by a Dilophosaurus while the remaining two escape. Although the wounded one was nearly killed by another Dilophosaurus, it got lucky again after a herd of Ceratosaurs scare off this predator. My word, this is a spooky short film. What great timing for this to come out before Halloween. Back when the trailer came out, I ended up getting a huge grin on my face when it showed Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus is one of those dinosaurs I've been wanting to see again in a modern dinosaur documentary for a long time, but as of right now, it hasn't happened yet, and it is very discouraging. The last time I remember this dinosaur being in a dinosaur documentary was when dinosaurs roamed America, and that's it. However, when this short film, Hunted by Moonlight, was released, I was happy with how it came out, and I felt cheered up because this gives me hope on seeing Dilophosaurus more properly during this modern age. As iconic as the Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus is, and you can be a fan of that concept, it completely overshadows the real animal itself, and I feel like more and more people should know the real Dilophosaurus more. First of all, I love the colors. This may sound like an over-exaggeration, but this is my favorite color palette in the whole Dinosauria series so far. Blue is my favorite color, and if I had to pick another color I like besides blue, it would be purple, so this is right up my alley. Hunted by Moonlight takes place at night, so it's natural to go with colors that are calming, cool, and mysterious. Blue and purple are some of those choices, so they really work together in this film. I also like the color orange as well, with the glowing fungus and the crests on the Dilophosaurs too. It is a warm color, and those colors are often used as a sign of danger. Considering these Scutellosaurs were tempted by the orange bioluminescent fungus, and the orange crest gave Dilophosaurus a scary tactic in the form of camouflaging, it's very smart. And I'm not gonna lie, looking at the blue and purple colors is very relaxing when there's no danger present. Another thing I enjoyed is the atmosphere. The short film takes place at night, and let me tell you, nighttime can range from being peaceful to being utterly terrifying. And this film is no exception. After the chaotic intro with the Ceratosaurus falling victim to a Dilophosaurus, the atmosphere starts off very peaceful and innocent-like with the Scutellosaurs waking up and going out of their home to search for goodies. As the three dinosaurs find some mushrooms and encounter a territory of bones, it becomes unnerving and gives off the feeling of not wanting to be there, especially when the camera pans up to a dead Ceratosaurus with most of its flesh stripped from its bones. You, as the viewer, would not want these little guys wandering in an area like that, but they were tempted by all the tasty food they were finding. Once we actually see the full look of Dilophosaurus, you'll know that the Scutellosaurs have ventured too deep. The background music even goes well together with how the film plays out. When David made this film, he was inspired by old Gothic fairy tales where it's a cautionary story of being tempted into venturing off into dangerous territory. After watching the film, I can see the inspiration, especially with the background music sounding like something you'd hear during a fairy tale movie or a backstage performance. Also, I don't know if it was a huge coincidence or not, but this film plus the atmosphere makes me think of Prehistoric Beast from 1984, where a monoclonius wanders into the territory of a T-Rex after being tempted by food. Only difference is, there's more than one of each different dinosaur species, and it takes place entirely in the dead of night. Turns out I wasn't alone when I thought of it, but whether Prehistoric Beast was involved as one of the inspirations or not, Hunted by Moonlight did a great job with giving out bone-chilling feelings. Again, perfect for Halloween month. Last but not least, we can't talk about this film without talking about Dilophosaurus. I was not disappointed one bit. This take on a modern Dilophosaurus in terms of design looks amazing, especially the colored crests with feathers. The body shape is well balanced, and the animal was big in size too. And one thing I noticed would be the eyeballs. While all the other dinosaurs in this film have pupils, the eyes of all the Dilophosaurs are just blank with no visible pupils. Although considering this film is supposed to be scary and the Dilophosaurs are the main antagonists, I think that adds on to the creepy factor. Speaking of creepy/scary, can we talk about how Dilophosaurus camouflaged with the fungus using its head crest in the film? When I was watching the beginning part of the film where it showed the point of view of the Ceratosaurus, I was expecting a jump scare and I was looking for that Dilophosaurus. But I did not see that dinosaur camouflaging until it moved, and my jaw dropped. This tactic happened again when a Dilophosaur ambushed the Scutellosaurus. The idea of Dilophosaurus using camouflage like that in the film was not only very unique and creative, but it's also terrifying. You don't have to give Dilophosaurus frills or venom to make it scary. The film pretty much shows that when you get creative with speculation, there are other ways to make a dinosaur scary. Oh, and before I forget, I like the sounds this dinosaur made. You can hear the hissing sounds, but there's also growling sounds mixed with the hissing. In my opinion, this is my favorite depiction of a modern Dilophosaurus so far. I don't know when that will change in the future, but it might depend on if there's ever going to be a future documentary where we see the return of this animal in a more modern way. Which leads me to a little bit of a downside. Not that there's anything wrong with the film, but it reminds me of what I just mentioned earlier about the real Dilophosaurus being overshadowed by a fictionalized version of itself. The real Dilophosaurus was big instead of being small, and it's very obvious that there's no evidence that the real animal had frills or venom. It's one thing to use ideas for scare factors and fun speculations, but the Jurassic Park variant shouldn't be taken too seriously. And like I said before, people need to get to know the real animal itself rather than just completely ignore it altogether. This is one of the reasons why we need projects like this, and I'm very grateful for that. And on to my favorite parts. I already brought up Dilophosaurus using its head crest to camouflage, which is one of my favorite scenes, but another favorite scene of mine when two Scutellosaurs get into a scuffle with each other and they ended up doing a barrel roll. That part was both funny and adorable. I also like that the two Scutellosaurs managed to survive at the end. I feel bad for the one with the slash marks though. The poor little guy had several near-death experiences in one single night, but dang, he got lucky. In conclusion, this is phenomenal and very scary. I think this is one of the best Dinosauria short films, and not only it gave Dilophosaurus some justice, but it's a perfect film to watch during the month of Halloween. If you're feeling discouraged about Dilophosaurus not making another proper appearance in a documentary for years, then Hunted by Moonlight might be the right short film for you to check out. This short film has a great story, strong and beautiful visuals, a scary atmosphere, a chilling soundtrack, fun and creative speculations, and also a phenomenal modern representation of Dilophosaurus. I can't find anything wrong with this film. David once again knocked it out of the park. Hunted by Moonlight shall be given 10 out of 10 sickle claws. Massive props to David for putting his heart and soul into this series because these take a lot of time, effort, and patience to make. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later in another video.